Hey Breako Academy hockey players. Today we are going to be talking about finding seams in the offensive zone to increase our chances of scoring and being an offensive threat. The player we will be watching today is New York Islanders forward Matthew Barzal. Let's watch the clip and then run it back to talk about it. So this clip is all about getting ourselves off the perimeter in the offensive zone and getting into the interior of the ice where we can greatly increase our chances of scoring and making an offensive play. Elite offensive players such as Matthew Barzal recognize specific patterns that they will see over and over again throughout the course of a hockey game. In this instance, Barzal is going up against a very structured defensive zone coverage by Tampa Bay. So he knows when he gets this puck on the half wall, more than likely he will be facing a strong side winger for Tampa Bay in this position and a defenseman in this position, which for him leaves this seam right here between these two players for him to get off the wall and attack this space. And you can see when he gets off the wall and creates this opportunity, look at the chaos that he creates. So since this defenseman didn't do a good job being on him right when the puck touched his stick, now he's going to have multiple players trying to cover him, which ultimately causes a defensive breakdown for Tampa. So in this instance, in this frame, he's got the strong side winger coming towards him, he's got his defenseman coming towards him, and now he even has the weak side winger rather, staring directly at him. And that number 9 for Tampa Bay, this weak side winger, is the guy who ultimately loses track of his check. This number 24 defenseman for New York, and he's the one that is able to get open and score the goal. So, like I was saying, great offensive players recognize these reoccurring patterns throughout a game, and these are the types of things that they might be visualizing before a game, kind of imagining themselves in these situations that they know they'll find themselves in. And this obviously, finding this seam getting off the half wall in the offensive zone is not the only reoccurring pattern. I'm sure if you think long and hard, you could come up with several examples where you know that throughout the course of a season, you're going to find yourself in these examples quite often. But this is a very important skill, just being more of an interior threat and not always being on the perimeter, especially in the offensive zone. So here we have a drill of some of our fifth graders at Breakaway Academy practicing this very similar situation, coming up the half wall and finding this seam that we just saw in the Barzal clip, which in this case, this would be the defenseman and this would be the forward. And you can see our players doing a really good job of being deceptive. So they're really selling as if they were going to either continue skating towards their own strong side defenseman, or they're faking a pass towards that strong side defenseman, which ultimately will just add a layer of deceptiveness and should allow them a better chance to get off the wall and into the scoring area between the dots, which is where we want to get our players more often than not, is being an interior scoring threat.